What's up everyone? My name is Mike Sieber, personal trainer and health coach. In this video I'm going to talk about the push-up exercise. We see people doing push-ups everywhere in boot camps, in the military, in exercise classes, and the sad news is most people do them wrong. So I'm going to show you the proper ways to progress the push-ups, common errors, how to activate your core properly on the push-ups, and what may be holding you back. This is especially important for females who often have hard time doing push-ups, but even for guys. A lot of guys don't do their push-ups properly. I didn't for the first couple years I lifted weights. It really takes an intense focus on your form, and it requires a lot more core than people realize. The push-up is a full body exercise. It's not just chest or arms. So without further ado, I'm going to show you a couple perfect form push-ups from the floor, and then I'll show you the progression, how to eventually get there. So one of the ways to progress your push-ups that I recommend for beginners, besides a Smith machine, which I'm going to go over, is the Swiss ball. This is a great tool for women to start their push-ups and even for guys, and it helps you ingrain the core. So the Swiss ball essentially functions as a nice barrier between you and the ground. It takes away some of the work from your core by supporting your hips or your torso even. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll out onto the ball, and you're going to get the ball underneath the hips or so. And basically what you're going to do is, as you grow stronger, you're going to roll out further away from the ball. So let's say I'm pretty weak. I might start right here and really grip the ground firmly. Make sure your head doesn't sink down, your chin's drawn back, your core is tight. Now one of the most common things on the push-up, again, are the head and neck and the core. Most people go right into this collapsed head position because their cervical flexors aren't strong enough. So draw the chin back, keep the core tight, and what I do is I keep my legs tight and I just come down just like this. Nose towards the ground, core tight, and legs kind of have to stay a little tight too. So pretend you're one of those bird things, you're dipping down. Then what you can do is you can put the ball a little lower or walk out a little more. And now it's harder because the lever arm is longer. Same thing. Big inhale when you come down. Fill the diaphragm. Exhale back up. Big error on push-ups is elbows flaring out or not coming down far enough. Again, that's back to that crappy pattern from not having enough core and neck strength. The chin comes down, the elbows come out. You want to come down out here, have your nose come straight to the ground. Screw your hands into the ground, have your elbows stay in. A proper push-up is elbows in tight to the armpits. And it's also great for working the triceps. Eventually, you can get way out there. You can even hold this position to build your strength and do push-ups like so. So the Swiss ball is a great tool for beginners. You can even start, doesn't matter where you start, focus on perfect reps. Inhale down, exhale, push back. Even if you have to start right here and just do them nice and slow, focus on form. Form comes before all else when it comes to your push-up technique. So the Smith machine is a great tool for developing your push-ups. I really don't use this monstrosity for much, but I do actually use it for push-up progressions because it's great because we can angle the bar here at different heights, so we can adjust the difficulty of the push-up. So again, we're always going to focus on keeping our chin in alignment, keeping our core tight. The number one thing you don't want to do is let your back arch, because then we're putting pressure on the lumbar vertebrae, we're putting pressure on the neck, we're getting tension in all the wrong ways. So this is a really good way to lead to low back pain, injury, and this is why people and coaches and workout classes shouldn't just have you doing full push-ups unless you properly progress and build the proper strength through the Smith machine progression I'm going to show you. So what you do is you start with the bar pretty high, right up here. This is pretty easy for anyone really. It's like the height of a counter roughly. You put your hands, you can either wrap your hands around it. I like to keep my palms flat so I can push right into the heel of my hand. And remember, you're thinking elbows in, like I once heard Joe DeFranco, Coach Joe DeFranco, say that you want to pretend there's a sheet of paper between your armpits and your triceps when you come back. So elbows in really tight, chin tucked, big breath in. And the great thing about this is don't worry about reps. Don't try and get 100 reps. Think about the time your muscles are working, the time under tension. So go slow and build your strength. Give the muscles a chance to work and focus on your weak points. For example, if I'm coming down on the push-up, I feel weak here, don't just skip past it. Go slow through it. If I'm weak, hold it, breathe. Come down, nice full range. and back. And hold it. Again, don't let the elbows flare out. Don't let the back arch. We don't want to see push-ups like this. It's a good way to get hurt. And what you can do is when that gets easy, you just progress it one lower and keep your good form. Core tight, elbows in. And now eventually I can progress it really low, which is still a little easier than fully horizontal. And once you get down to about here, we'll go one lower, right about here. This is a pretty hard push-up. You want to angle so your weight is centered over your shoulders. You don't want to be too far back, and you don't want to be too far forward. Find the sweet spot. And once you get about that low, you can probably progress to doing full push-ups. So again, if you have a countertop at home, I used to use my staircase. Go slowly and focus on form. Try to time yourself. See if you can do it for a minute. Try to do 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up. Focus on technique and form. So many people do push-ups because they think they're getting a good workout, and all they're doing is hurting their low back, tightening their shoulders. Could lead to a shoulder injury, a whole host of biomechanical problems if you do push-ups incorrectly. So don't have an ego. Don't try to do full push-ups before you're ready. Do them on the Smith machine slowly and properly. Again, I'll show you one more time. Nice and slow. You'll see the triceps under tension, the chest. And just work what you're able to do. There's no point in having an ego and doing a crappy form exercise because someone like me looks at you and just sees that you're just training, you're ingraining a bad movement pattern, and you're just putting yourself on the road to injury, which isn't good. So again, focus on your focal points. The head and neck, the core, keeping the elbows in, strong grip, and obviously you're working the chest, triceps, and shoulders. But I can't understate how important the core is on the push-ups, how important the breathing is. Always inhale, and then exhale, push back. The breathing's very important, and progressing just at your own pace. So again, phenomenal exercise when done correctly. So I highly recommend you do these progressions with the Swiss ball and the Smith machine to start out, and you'll be well on your way to doing full push-ups in no time. So remember, the push-up is a bit of a complex strength movement, and if you have postural issues, especially a weak neck like I was talking about, you may need to do other corrective exercises, a lot of stretching, and it may be in your best interest to hire a coach. So really, please be careful when you do these exercises on your own. Always focus on form. Don't do anything past what you're ready to handle. And so now I thought it'd be fun to show you some ways you can progress the push-ups once you get more advanced. Don't try any of these unless you can do perfect full form push-ups slowly and correctly for anywhere from 10 to 20 reps minimum. First one's pretty cool, is take 2 weight plates. Very good for the balance. I can only do a few of those. I did those earlier today. Next one you can do is push up to row. Another one is push-ups on the Bosu ball for a little instability. Very cool. And lastly, I take the Swiss ball, put my feet up on it, up on your toes if you're really badass and have good balance. Whew. Remember, it might take you a while to properly do a push-up, weeks, months, depending on how, where you're starting from, where the posture's at, if you might need other corrective exercises. Don't just do movements for the sake of getting a pump or your heart rate up. Do things with intention and purpose and really get that form down. So thanks for watching my video on push-ups, and I'll talk to you soon.